people. That was exciting. We just saw a hell of a lot of history tonight. We saw the first UFC card where we had all KOs and TKOs. We had 0 submissions, 0 decisions. No judges were needed. We saw obviously a UFC card that was very historical in a completely different sense. Historical in a very American sense. Historical in a very patriotic sense. And then we end the night with 2 new champions. An interim heavyweight champion, which we knew we were going to get. And then, in my mind, at least in recent UFC history, probably one of the biggest shocks that has ever happened. One of the biggest surprises that has ever happened inside that octagon in very recent title fight history. And so I'd like to welcome all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to the UFC Freedom 250 post-fight show here on the ETB network. My name is Tom Albano, senior writer and event lead for MMA News, MMA contributor for Deadspin, and host of Fight IQ and Fight IQ, the Puncher's Chance, every week here on the Empty the Bench network. Fight IQ airing every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, and Fight IQ, the Puncher's Chance, airing usually Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, but usually just goes around the time of whatever UFC card is happening that weekend. And oh my God, we have barely started this show. We have 500 people watching this. To the 500 plus of you who are out there across our social media feeds, our YouTube channels, and everything, thank you. Thank you for sticking with us, because it is 1:47 a.m. Eastern. I am extremely freaking tired, but here I am with you guys because I could not fall asleep. As tired as I am right now, I don't know if I can fall asleep with all the energy that I've got. Like, it's that tired kind of energy that it's just like still bursting out of you, when everything is done. You just witness something awesome, because indeed we witnessed something awesome. Zain, do we have you? Because you're
Yeah, we're in the private chat for why.
All right. We have Zain. We're having little problems here, but we have Zain. Let me just quickly run through. Let me quickly run through all the intro stuff. So yes, this is the UFC Freedom 250 post-fight show. Easy for me to say. Make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified of everything here at the Empty the Bench network. That includes every broadcast of Fight IQ. That includes every broadcast of Bando's breakdowns, and every Zanzinger Part 2, and of course every pre-show, post-fight show, what have you, for any of the UFC numbered cards that occur here on the Empty the Bench podcast network. Subscribe to our YouTube home, youtube.com/ETB network. We have over 1,100 subscribers. We're continuing the climb. We want to continue to build on the watch hours. And if you are watching on any of the ETBX platforms that we're broadcasting to right now, we thank you so much, but we would like you to also come to our YouTube home and at least hit the subscribe button. But if you are watching on X, don't forget, please give a like, please repost and quote post, or retweet and quote tweet, as us old heads who love the Twitter days would like to say. Make sure to follow us on social media, our shows, Fight IQ, Bando's breakdowns. Make sure to follow the ETB network itself at ETB network. You can follow Zain at ZanBando99, and you can follow me on social media at Thomas J. Albano. All right. Enough with this chit chat, though. Let's get right into everything, because I want to make sure we get through so much as possible with this and still enjoy the time that we have with everything. All right. So let's just get right to it. I'm still reeling from this. Justin Gaethje, in what could have been his final opportunity at a lightweight championship, in what could have been the final fight of his career if he had lost. He was the underdog taking on a champion. Now, Ilya Tsuperia had not been champion for long. He had been a champion for a year, but had been on the sidelines because of the child custody case that he was battling. He's been featherweight champion. He had, in the words of Joe Rogan, an impressive, or the most impressive, at least according to Joe Rogan, 3-fight run in the UFC, knocking out Alex Volkanovski, knocking out Max Holloway, and then knocking out Charles Oliveira. But Justin Gaethje was just made of something else on this night. And I last checked, a 6-1 underdog of a challenger heading into this fight. He ends up delivering. And like I said, one of the biggest title fight upsets in UFC history, at least recent UFC history, and finishes Ilia Topuria, makes him quit on the stool, makes his corner give it up, throw in the towel, makes Ilia Topuria say no mas, and he becomes UFC lightweight champion. And to take the words of somebody I was seeing, well, scrolling through Twitter or X, Dana White's gamble pays off. Justin Gaethje, at the twilight of his career, ready to potentially hang it up. The American underdog, after a night where no American fighter had won except for Bo Nickel, and that was an American versus American matchup. And it paid off. And the night ended with an American UFC champion and American male UFC champion. Let's give some respect to Kayla Harrison. And yeah, just it paid off. The big fireworks at the end, the Freedom 250 belt, the lightweight belt. It was unbelievable. An unbelievable sight and an unbelievable ending. Zain, what are your thoughts on the ending?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put into words. I mean, what we just saw, it's only been, 30 minutes since Gaethje took care of business. I mean, it was a remarkable win for him. I mean, to see how much damage he had took in rounds 2 and 3, particularly when he was mounted a couple of times, was remarkable. To even get to the championship rounds was something that I didn't even think was possible from his perspective, and it was just a remarkable win for someone who had just worked so hard over and over again, years and years of sacrifice, the losses in the title fights, you know, Khabib obviously looking at the loss to Holloway, not knowing where he was going to be at this time even a year ago. No one really knew what was going on. All people knew is that if he got in there with Taporia, anything was possible. And it is what it is. And I just want to say to the viewers, for those of you who can't see me, the reason why is because it's pitch black in here and I have to be as quiet as possible. But that's how I saw the fight. From what happened, I didn't see it playing out the way that it did, but it was certainly one of those where it was like, okay, Gage, he really is that good, and it's time to put a stamp on a Hall of Fame career. No question about it. Now a BMF champion, or an ex BMF champion rather, and now a UFC lightweight champion. It was just remarkable, and to see that we have almost 800 people in here, it's clear that traffic has been a big deal on this entire event. I noticed it with my work stuff. I'm not sure if you noticed it today, but extraordinary numbers all around, regardless of what YouTube channel or MMA website you consume. So thank you to you guys. You can tell how tired I am. Thank you to you guys that have tuned in already to all of our content this weekend. And this was a cherry on top event, my friend. That's all you can really say.
Yeah, and Zain, like you mentioned, there were times where I thought Ilia was just going to get the job done. He had Gaethje mounted at a couple of different points. He had Gaethje mounted. He took the back. I thought at some point, when the triangle armbar was being worked on, what was that, late round 2? I thought at that point, okay, yep, Gaethje's done. He's taken a lot of damage. But now I should clarify. He busted Topuria open in round 1. He was finding success with the right hand very early. It was just a matter of Topuria then started to unload some combinations. And kind of like we talked about, Zain, despite the fact that these two have, grappling backgrounds, that near triangle armbar and then a grappling attempt by Topuria late in round 4 was really the only ground action that we saw. The rest of this fight was just the two of them throwing heavy leather. And I would say until one of them dropped, but both of them managed to get back up at some point after getting dropped. It was wild.
Can you believe, Tom, that Ilia had Gaethje in the mount multiple times, even at a potential armbar attempt, and he just could for whatever reason, Gaethje was so slippery, he just couldn't find the finish. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, seriously, it was insane. I mean, it's already insane. I mean, Zan, you heard what I said at the beginning, right? There have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
no UFC cards that have ever ended with all knockouts, and tonight we got that.
Tom, this was UFC 777, if you want to think about it like that. So it took 33 years for this milestone to hit.
Yeah. Well, 33 years. He don't not even just numbered cards, but also all of the different fight nights that happened.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why I said 777, because that's every
Oh,
single one. Yep,
wait. It was literally the 777th UFC event.
that's correct. Yep.
The UFC hit jackpot.
Yeah.
They hit jackpot in such a big way tonight. That's
And
unbelievable.
by the way, shout out to Jedi Goodman for that. You know I'm a sicko when it comes to the UFC, but I don't track it like that. Shout out to him. He was the one who pulled that. So
I I love Jed. I really do, with all the wild information that he's able to post, all the stats that he has. Yeah, Christy, I'm glad you tuned in. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Quite potentially one of the most wild nights that I have ever seen. Just unbelievable action. Like I said, as much as he had hurt Tapuria early on and made him bleed, I thought it looked pretty much over for Gaethje when he was in the triangle armbar. I thought, okay, maybe he's just going to pass out here and it's going to be like the Khabib fight all over again. But he managed to survive the round. And I guess he went for it. Like, Tapuria really went for it because he was dead tired in round 3. He was freaking done. He seemed to be freaking done with the right shot from Gaethje. And yet he continued to come forward. He continued to try and fight. And then Gaethje just battered him. I thought it was over after round 3 because it looked like the doctor looked like he was saying no. Like, he didn't. First of all, apparently, according to commentary, Tapuria uttered the words that you cannot say in the corner of "I cannot see." That was Tapuria's first mistake, but he begged to go on. And, we always seem to have problems with what?
not to interrupt you, but have you heard the other narrative that's going around about that?
What was that?
That it was lost in translation, what he actually said.
What?
Which is
what?
which is what you just said.
What? That he couldn't see?
Correct, yeah.
I mean, but you cannot give any sort of hint that you can't see. If
No, I
that
know
happens,
that.
a doctor is
I'm
going to
just
jump
saying
in.
it was a very confusing sequence. That's all.
Okay. But here's the bigger thing to that. We can talk about that all night. But number one, Tapuria still lost at the end. The corner withdrew.
No, I know that. I
But
know
number
that.
two is here. Wait, Zan, here's where I go. Shout out to Mark Goddard, because I know that we always seem to have problems with refs and judges, and every week. And I know that under what I just said, you're going to have a doctor stepping in and saying, no, I don't want this. But the way that Tapuria begged, the way the crowd booed, it almost felt like it was going to be Madison Square Garden, UFC 244 all over again. But Goddard said, all right, fine, I'm going to give you the chance. Give him the chance he did. And Tapuria managed to somewhat hold his own in round 4. It wasn't great, but he managed to hold his own enough to the point where, he survived the round, but it was enough for the corner to actually say, okay, I think we're done. And Ilya finally said no mas.
Correct.
But I just think that makes it even more shocking. Acquitting on the stool in this kind of environment, acquitting on the stool in such a wild war. 1 year after Tapuria won the title, after a year away dealing with this incredible heart-aching custody battle.
Well, Tom, not even that. He was 15 days away from 1 year ago to the day of when he won the lightweight championship.
Yeah, it was his first defense. And like I said, going up against Gaethje, where Ilya was a 6-1 favorite, where he was undefeated, and we were looking at a fight potentially with him and Islam Makhachev. And it was too
Yeah,
much.
that's well said. So I have some other questions because we didn't talk during the event at all. So I figured I would. Can I mention a few things?
Yeah, go ahead. You can see the comments when they come in, right?
Yeah. What questions do we have that I could potentially answer?
Well, I guess at this point, I mean, did you expect after Gaethje won? Did you expect that he was going to retire? Because to
No.
clarify, he did not retire. People, he said actually either way he wasn't going to retire because he promised his mom he would actually take the time to think about things,
Correct, and I
which I think
agree.
is the right decision anyway.
Correct. Just one small pivot here. I agree with Christy. She says Taporia's face looks so nasty from all those blows. Yeah, Christy, just for some added context, we've never seen Taporia that bloodied or battered in any of his UFC fights. So
No,
this was a major surprise.
like I said, when you consider the 6-1 underdog nature and the way that he battered Tapuria, it is one. It's going to go down as one of the most shocking performances in UFC title fight history.
Some are saying it's the biggest. I don't know if it's the biggest,
No,
but
not Sarah GSP is going to be the biggest.
I was gonna say though this is top
Juliana
five.
Pena versus Amanda Nunes is bigger.
This is top five though.
It's top
I,
five for sure.
I think it's number four. I could safely put it at four.
So what would you put over it? You have
Yeah, Michael Bisping, Luke Rockhold.
okay, yeah,
That'd be number two on my list. Number
and then
one
and then the two that I said.
yeah, and then the other one, if you want to put a fifth in there, Holly Holm against Ronda Rousey.
Oh, of course, yeah, Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey. See, I might even put it at number 5, honestly. Maybe even number 6. It's definitely top 10. I'm thinking about maybe not. And I mean, if you're talking about overall UFC upsets, I mean, we've seen non-title fights with big shocks before. I mean,
Well, Tom, do you want to know what's cool about every
Anna
upset?
Dobson. What would you say?
No, I was just saying, do you want to know what's cool about every upset you just listed?
What's up?
I watched every one of those upsets as they happened in real time, which is cool to think about.
I think I watched most of them. I think the only one I didn't of that list was the GSP Sarah fight.
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely wild. Shout out to Justin Gaethje because I mean, for me this is a culmination because it was just months into my run as an MMA media person that Gaethje signed with the UFC. Like I remember,
Really? Okay.
like I remember in my first half of my first year in MMA media, watching Justin Gaethje as the WSOF lightweight champion on NBC
Yeah.
Sports Network for the World Series of Fighting.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that. It's kind of cool how our parallels cross in some way. He came in 2 years before I started covering the sport. So it's interesting how that kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. But yeah, I mean, I remember, dude. Even though I'm 26, I'm old enough to remember when he fought in Detroit against Eddie Alvarez. That's how long I've been following him.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember watching that. It was the first loss of his MMA career.
It's pretty crazy to think about. I mean, dude, that's right up there with the. I'd say obviously that's his best performance for sure, but I would say number 2 is his UFC debut. That's
the war with Michael Johnson. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And think about it. To talk about just how much the UFC has loved Justin Gaethje, they have loved him forever. That UFC debut with Michael Johnson was, yes, it was on a tough finale, but they put him in the main event.
That's how much hype was around him at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they have loved him since. And honestly, he's delivered almost every single time. Most of these fights that he's been in have been absolute bangers. The only other time I can think of is, the undisputed title fights previously. Khabib dominated him. Oliveira dominated him. My friend. What'd you say?
Bangers with a capital B, 100%.
Yeah. Like I said, the only two that maybe weren't were the 2 previous undisputed title fights because Khabib dominated him and then obviously retired. And then Charles Oliveira dominated him, but the headline was taken again when Oliveira missed weight for that title fight.
Yeah, by the way, we're nearing 1,000 people, so this is just
Sick.
a banner weekend.
Serious. People, go to bed.
You guys are savages, as Joe Rogan likes to say.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I should go to bed. I have work in a few hours.
I should go to bed too. I have a long day of post fight stuff ahead of me.
Oh, I have post fight stuff ahead of me too, but I got to go to work soon too.
I know.
And I don't work from home. I have to travel.
Yeah, the reason why I was a few minutes late to the intro is because, as I said, I was submitting that column and I was on tight deadline pressure for a lot of publications that my piece will get syndicated to. So maybe you'll see it in Deadspin and New York Post. We'll see. Maybe in a couple hours. Which is kind of cool.
And I have to check and see any post-fight stuff going on with myself as well. Has there anything notable that has happened here?
I'm checking social media because I have no
idea. Did you see what Callan posted on social media?
No, what did he post?
To promote our show, he put a quote tweet, and it says "Play Freebird" by Leonard Skinner.
That is awesome.
I would have loved to come in and intro this show with Freebird, but I'm not paying those royalties, and I'm not getting copyright claimed up the wazoo by YouTube. No, thank you.
Hey, you know what? I'm not the biggest Stephen A. Smith guy, but his recent tweet is spot on, to be honest with you.
What did he say?
He goes, "Gotta be honest, this UFC event at the White House looks spectacular. This is a big-time show. I'm not there, and we know all the complaints folks had about renovations adding around the White House. But to be fair, this is some impressive stuff I'm looking at. Props to UFC President Dana White and the show they put on. It's big time, plain and simple." And I'm just going to say this for all the haters out there, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me. Politics aside, this entire broadcast was freaking flawless. Did you see a single mistake? This looked like absolute cinema tonight. The UFC production team absolutely killed it.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely fantastic. I think the only blunder was when Bruce Buffer introduced Diego Lopez as a number 2 ranked champion instead of challenger.
No, it happened. By the way, that firework was not for me. That firework was a neighbor across the street. But you could tell it's festive on a Monday morning.
Zain, I mean, number one, it is Flag Day. Number two, Zain, how do you think I felt last night when the Knicks clinched? I heard fireworks everywhere.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
I heard somebody in my neighborhood screaming out, "Knicks, baby!"
Well, that Nixon 5 meme is real, so
I couldn't resist. Oh, man. Just a wild weekend. Just a wild weekend of sports. And tonight, the Hurricanes clinched the Stanley Cup. World Cup's underway. This
World
is
fantastic. Cup's underway. The Cubs lost again. What else is new? I'm going to the game on Tuesday. They continue to break my heart. Sports are madness. But back to the topic at hand.
Yeah,
though.
back to here's what I'll say.
Oh no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. This has been a fun conversation. Sorry, we're geeking out about this, but this is why we do this every single weekend, is because we don't know what the heck is going to happen.
The song of the year is practically Freebird, between the U.S. men's and women's hockey teams and the Olympics, and I don't know, every single other patriotic thing that we've had. The 250th birthday of America. This Freebird's basically the song. Here's what I'll say on the political front. My one statement.
Okay.
Look, and I actually caught some flack. Like, there are people. You know how I have the Deadspin best bets piece?
Yeah.
I actually had people in the comments, because I guess Deadspin once upon a time was a very right-wing, anti-Trump website.
It was. Yep.
So people are talking about that, Deadspin has no morals and yada, yada. Deadspin, was traitors, and Deadspin used to be a good website. Basically, trashing my whole piece just simply because the White House event is connected between Dana White and Donald Trump.
Yeah. Can I say something similar as well? Because
Okay.
something similar happened to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't engage with them. I didn't
Well,
want to
neither did
cause
I. Neither did I.
I didn't want to cause a social media ruckus, but my without going into specifics, my piece on the weather, which ended up being a non-story, did extraordinary numbers throughout the entire day. Numbers that I'd never seen before, which I'm very grateful for, and I'm very proud of myself. But someone decided to spin my story into something it wasn't, and say I was openly supporting, let's just say, one political party when I barely made any mention of
Okay,
politics at
so
all in the
I
entire
saw a
story.
tweet, Zan. I saw a tweet that the National Weather, I mean, not the National Weather Service, the Weather Channel tweet, where a pro-Trump account quote tweeted it and basically ravaged on it and basically said it was promoting, a hopefulation of cancellation. And to the point where I was going to, Zan, is that, look, I know in journalism school we are taught about how important journalism is as a watchdog and how the Trump administration has been, very vocal against media. And my whole thing is, look, I get it. And I know people are saying, oh, you shouldn't be covering this card for X, Y, and Z of reasons. But my thing is, we're talking about responsibilities as a journalist, right?
Yeah.
In that sense, as a
Yep.
sports reporter, you have one of the biggest events the UFC has ever had with an undisputed title fight. One fight being one particular fight being an undefeated champion and a 6-1 underdog challenger and an American challenger to emphasize on the whole aspect of the event. And an interim title fight where one fighter was looking to make history and do something that nobody in the UFC has ever done before.
Yeah.
If I fail to cover those, then I fail as a sports reporter.
As do I.
It doesn't matter if that fight happens on the White House lawn, in the Capital One Arena, in Madison Square Garden, in the United Center, the Crypto.com Arena, in New York, Chicago, LA, Canada, Mexico, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, England,
Argentina,
Brussels,
doesn't
Spain,
matter.
France, Ireland, Timbuktu, Madagascar, Australia, Japan, China. It does not matter.
Baku.
Right. It does not matter. That is a historical, important event in terms of the now and in terms of the UFC narrative, those title fights. So that's a no-win situation for reporters, but that's why you're seeing all of these MMA news organizations covering this card still. Why? Because it doesn't matter where those fights take place. Those fights are important.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are, by their definition, news.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the UFC is a news gathering machine, whether you agree or disagree with TKO's ideals or not. Facts
And
are
the
facts.
politics of it all.
Right. It's as simple as that. Right?
Yeah. Right. All right. That's my one political statement I am making on it. And it's not even a political statement.
I don't even think it's political. I think it's
no, it's a screw politics statement, honestly.
It's journalism integrity. That's what it is.
Right. And it's basically, if you're talking about journalism integrity, it's a no-win situation because you either are, in the words of some, supporting this kind of regime, or you're failing on basics that you are taught in sports journalism school.
Right. Exactly. Which neither of us did. We worked our asses off this entire weekend, whether it was here.
We're going to work our asses off when we get out of here in however long it's going to take.
Well, I don't have to. I know you do, though.
I do. I have to. And then I got to go to actual work afterwards.
By the way, we just hit a record. Shout out to 1,000 people that are in here.
I think this is the third or fourth ETV network stream that has hit 1,000 people watching. The third or fourth most watched stream ETV network history.
Could you imagine how many views the Connor one's going to do? We do that one?
I don't know. Only because I don't know if Connor still has that kind of popularity. This is something that goes past hardcore MMA. I think this is something that goes past casual MMA, to be really honest.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other title fight, the co-main event. I didn't think this was going to be possible. I thought Cyril Gane was going to have to work his ass off in terms of trying to, stop Alex Pereira and stop his power from being thrown. But Cyril Gane managed to rock Alex Pereira in the first round and then finish him in the second. He is, for the second time in his career, an interim UFC heavyweight champion. He obviously had been interim champion before, beating Derek Lewis at UFC 265, but he failed in his undisputed title shot against Francis Ngannou. Came up short in the vacant title fight against John Jones at UFC 285. And now Cyril Gane has basically just earned himself another title shot against Tom Aspinall.
Wait a minute, Tom. So by definition, is his record in title fights now 1-2-1? Is that right?
Are you count? No, it would be 0-2-1 for undisputed. If you count interim, then it's 2-2-1.
Oh, right. Yeah, good point.
So he has a 500 record in title fights,
which I think is probably a 1-of-1 in UFC history now.
It's unbelievable. And the thing is, he hasn't even won an undisputed. It's been 2 interim fights.
Nope.
So
okay, so this is where things get interesting. So let's get to the elephant in the room because everybody wants to know our thoughts on this. I'll let you go first.
Oh, you want me to read my text message, I guess?
Yeah, go for it because that's what we're going to get into in a minute.
So the text message I sent Zain immediately, like after the ref had stepped in, I said that might have been the worst thing to happen for the heavyweight division.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want to disrespect Cyril Gane with that, but you think about the star power that Alex Pereira has as a UFC fighter, and you think about his success in 2 weight classes and the history he was going for with a third. And you think about Tom Aspinall. I just talked about, Gane's earned another shot. And I know you've talked about you're confident that Aspinall and Gane will make something work. Aspinall and UFC, I should say, will make something work.
I'm even more confident now. I am.
Even with a Gane win.
Yes.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. Because at this point, and this is something I should have said with the pre-show, if Aspinall, for whatever reason, be it Eddie Hearn, be it Aspinall choosing boxing, that will be 3 straight UFC heavyweight champions that leave in one way or another. And that just would not be a good look for the UFC.
No, it wouldn't. Nope.
Okay, there you go. But to your credit, where I'm going to say, to your credit, Hearn and Aspinall just got a hell of a lot of leverage tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Because
now they can come to the table and say, yeah, your golden goose got beat, meaning Pereira. Mm-hmm. So now what do you want?
I guess the only thing that the UFC can counter with is Josh Hokett got a finish tonight. If you walk, we'll give Gane the title and he'll fight Hokett.
I don't mean to be that guy, but that would be a disaster. Or you don't get a title shot off of beating an older Derek Lewis who's had numerous chances.
Zain, we'll talk about it in a little bit because we'll talk about the Hokett fight. I agree, but Colby Covington effect.
Okay, interesting.
Because of the way that Zain. Actually, you know what? Let's just transition right to it. I know we're going out of order, but since we're getting to that conversation, let's get to that conversation right now. Actually, hold on. Actually, wait, one more thing. Because I was in James Lynch's chat room throughout the night. And one thing that somebody brought up, Pereira said he's not making a decision if he's going to go back to light heavyweight or stay at heavyweight. James Lynch feels that he needs to stay at heavyweight simply because there's more money matchups and fresh matchups for Pereira.
See, I disagree. I don't know about you.
I don't know simply because I think both divisions suck right now.
Okay, but can I tell you why I disagree?
Okay.
He just beat an ex-champion, and he had knocked out every other major contender and or ex-champion before the Ankalaev saga. Ankalaev is still pissed that he's no longer the light heavyweight champion. There's now
Mhm.
the mess with Carlos Albert.
I
We
was
don't
going to
know how
say, but
long.
I think that's the other wild card into this potential decision making. We have no idea what's going on with Holberg right now.
Right. So isn't that an advantage for Pereira, knowing that there's so much uncertainty and that he's technically healthy
Okay, I
enough where if he
agree.
wanted to?
I agree. But can I throw another wild card?
Okay.
Last month, Hamzat Chimaev said he wants to move up to light heavyweight, and Dana White's eyes went big and he grinned. Would he be okay and practically maybe beg Pereira to move up to move up to heavyweight so that way Chimaev can move into the light heavyweight star position?
Interesting. I'm not sure.
Because what happens there could also fluctuate what's going on with middleweight.
That's a
Because
wild card I did not think about.
right, and you consider that also can affect the middleweight division. You've got Sean Strickland as the champion, and you've got all these potential next opponents. Dricus Duplessis about to fight Kamaru Usman supposedly if that fight gets
We
done.
think it's not confirmed, but it
I know
more
I
than
said
likely
if that
will
fight
be
gets
that.
done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We could have Chimaev do the rematch, but if he moves up to light heavyweight, Brendan Allen's right there. Nasruddin Imavov's right there. There's a lot of moving and shaking potential pieces that could be involved and could, the decisions of Chimaev, Pereira, and the UFC are going to have a major impact on the top three divisions.
Good point. And Tom, I don't mean to do this, but you mean boom, boom, shake the boom, because that's what those three divisions seem to be doing at the moment.
Yeah, seriously. All right. Yeah, going a little out of order here, but since we're talking about the heavyweight scene, let's go to the Josh Hokett fight. Josh Hokett, it was such an easy fight against Derek Lewis. He ended up having to maybe avoid the power, but Josh Hokett managed to get such an easy takedown. I thought the fight was going to be finished there. And Derek Lewis just looked completely out of it. He looked like a heavyweight that's, well, on the road to retirement, which he practically is at this point.
Yeah, he practically is. I mean, and now he lost all of his leverage, losing in front of the president, a fight that he said yes to when he didn't have
The
to.
fight the president
Because,
requested.
right, I'm saying Lewis could still said no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, but that would have been even a worse look, to be really honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, you're right. I don't know what is next for Derek Lewis, but like I said, the Hokett win gives the UFC a little bit of leverage back towards Aspinall. Now, having said that, Hokett has requested in his post fight, he didn't say he wanted the title, he wanted Pereira. Now, I don't know if this is a situation where he thought, like the both of us, Pereira was going to win this fight, or if he really think, considering Pereira's star power, that he wants it. I'll be honest with you, Zain. If that's the latter and he wants to fight Pereira to potentially use that for a title shot, oh, that's a mistake. I think that's a worse mistake than even trying to go right for the title, even with Pereira's loss tonight.
I think so too, because I think a 100% Pereira makes Hokett's life a nightmare for 15 minutes.
I get we're having this conversation. I mean, not you and me, but like the MMA community is having this conversation about, oh, Pereira moved up in weight and maybe his power didn't translate well. Hokett has not been tested. Well, Hokett's chin has not been. Let me clear it. Hokett's chin was tested against Curtis Blades and held up well, but Curtis Blades is a wrestler. Alex Pereira is a kickboxer.
Well,
That's
to
two
be
different
fair,
kinds of power.
Well, to be fair, Cyril Gahn looked ready to go and then some. I mean,
Right.
have we ever seen Cyril Gahn look as good as he did? Like, that was a masterclass.
Yeah, it was a masterclass. But my point is, if you put Hokett against Pereira, Gahn, or Aspinall, or hell, why not? Because I'm going to bring him up in a second. Even John Jones, Hokett's going to have a hard time, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
unless we see for ourselves that Hogan can take that kind of punching power that those four can deliver. You know, as much as Derek Lewis can deliver that kind of power, and I don't want to be, I hate being the kind of person who moves the goalposts, but that was not the Derek Lewis that we should have seen in that octagon tonight.
No pun intended. Anyway, though, with that being said, I mean, is Hogan doing what he did tonight an exact reason why the heavyweight division is as okay as it is? I mean, if that's really all we're settling for, you see what I mean?
Oh, I know what you're saying, and I mean it goes back to what I was talking about with Colby Covington effect. I mean, Zain, as much as we were just saying trying to put the politic talk out of it, Michelle Obama was trending the entire night after Hogan's post-fight interview.
Yeah.
Dana and TKO are going to look at those numbers, Dan. You know it. Look at the TKO regime. They're going to look at those numbers and say, okay, we're putting Hogan in a title fight next.
Hogan title fight, potentially on the West Coast in the fall. I think people would come out for it. I do.
Right, because Dan, this is also going to trigger the hate watch effect. I want to see Hogan get knocked out. This is the Jake Paul kind of thing.
Well, to be fair, I don't really root for fighters anymore, but I was hoping
but there will be people who do so, Zan.
No, I know. I wasn't done talking, though. I was saying I broke my own ethical rule to say that I wanted to see Lewis win for the sheer chaos of it, and he didn't.
So my whole point was that you're going to see people hate watch. You're going to see people. I guarantee you're going to see people who, want to love Hogan now because of those remarks and because of who he is, cringy as it can be. Yeah, and Hogan could probably get a title shot. However, Zan, I don't know if you noticed something that got posted tonight.
By whom?
After the Cyril Gane win. The one and only Jon Jones posted a 5-second clip to Instagram showing the screen, showing his face, and then doing a little eyebrow raise. And there's only one thing I can say to that, and I hope you agree. And it's not words. Here we go again.
To be fair, I am really no Jon Jones defender. But seeing that and knowing you already beat Cyril Gane in a couple minutes.
Trust me. Zan, trust me. If Aspinall leaves the UFC, Dana White's going to have a phone call, going to get a phone call. And it's going to be from Jon Jones that says, hey, you sure you don't want me anymore?
Well, to be fair, speaking of your music, Christy appears to agree that Jon Jones is a clown.
Christy, I'll go one step further. The entire heavyweight division is a clown show.
That's valid.
The entire heavyweight division at this point is a freaking clown show. Zan, MVP MMA has had one card, and so far I'd say if they manage to build things right, they might get a better heavyweight division.
Who knows?
Zan, I think there's a fair argument. PFL might have a better heavyweight division.
Yeah, that's also potentially valid. And I'm sure John Martin would agree with you. We'll see what he thinks when I talk to him next week. But yeah.
Like I said, would it have solved everything? No. But I think Gane beating Pereira does more harm than good for the heavyweight.
Oh, well, Christy, that's a good question. Unfortunately, Bellator doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, they're gone. They were purchased by PFL and then folded the next year. So yeah, heavyweight's a complete you-know-what show. But you know what? Let's talk about the Sugar Show. The Sugar Show is back. This was one of my favorite finishes of the night. He lands a punch to stun Zahavi, lands another, stuns him again, and then puts Zahavi out with one more punch And then as the hobby's going down, he salutes all the soldiers in attendance.
Yeah, that is a vintage Sean O'Malley performance. As I wrote in Sports Illustrated earlier tonight, that was as good of a performance as you could have asked for. Two big wins, firmly in the title mix. Couldn't have gone any better for Sugar. No doubt about it. You can hate O'Malley all you want, but when that guy is dynamic as ever on the feet, he's very tough to beat.
As I said
He's
tonight on Twitter, or as I kind of implied tonight on Twitter, he, as the kids would say, has aura. Every time he has that walkout, he always manages to catch people's attention. And now he's won 2 fights in 2026. He's rebounded from losing the title to Rob Davalishvili and losing the rematch. So, like I said before on the pre-show, Zan, he's done his part of the deal. Now Jan's got to do his.
Yeah.
Although,
Yeah.
although James Lynch has basically said, when I told James that, he said, "Well, I'll counter you. We have a world where Josh Hokett could potentially get a title shot next. We have a world where Sean O'Malley was able to wait out that entire time after getting dominated by Merab and got a rematch.
Yeah.
We got, and I guess he didn't say this part, but we're in a world where John Jones and Stipe Miocic were able to get another year of time and get a title fight. You never know. Maybe Sean O'Malley, considering who he is, maybe even if Merab wins, maybe they run Merab O'Malley 3 just because of who O'Malley is. I don't know if I agree with that, but it is the reality. If we're talking about Hokett with the Colby Covington effect just now, it may not be far-fetched to say O'Malley earned a title shot tonight.
Tom, you have some breaking news. You want me to read it?
Oh, great. Wait, hold on. I think I got to play the alarm sound because that's just how things work here. Hit me.
Okay. Dana White is at the podium now. Performance of the night bonuses are Taporia versus Gaethje for fight of the night, and performance of the night goes to Gaethje and Cyril Gane.
So Gaethje gets the double bonus that he wanted. All right, but now here's the question, Zan. Maybe he hasn't asked this yet. Maybe Aaron Bronstetter hasn't tweeted it out in his media coverage yet. Is Tyson Fury officially signed to Zuffa Boxing?
We don't know. The press conference just started, so I will update you as things come in.
Okay, because if that happens, then I gotta get quickly back onto the news writing beat. All right, but I lost my place here. Let me go back to where we were. Yeah, just your thoughts. Do you think O'Malley is getting a title shot regardless of what happens? Because I don't know. If Jan beats Merab, then definitely.
Are you asking me? Do I think he gets one?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's justified. I don't know if it's right away, but I think you let the Merab and Jan fight happen, and you go from there. I'm going to pull a Dana and say we'll figure that out on Tuesday.
All right, fair enough. I don't know what to say about this fight. Michael Chandler is now 2-6 in the UFC. He's lost 4 or 5 straight. It's time.
Tom, you're not going to believe this.
But
we had every major winner on the podium at the press conference, and it feels like an OG UFC press conference.
All the winners are there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool?
That's the feeling of the UFC I miss.
Hey, dude, the whole format tonight was awesome. No complaints.
It's freaking awesome.
Dana said this was the most successful event of all time.
It's definitely going to go down as a top.
I gotta buy my mini poster now that I'm thinking about it. Add it to the wall.
I mean, regardless of what you think with the politics of it all, the card definitely delivered. It will go down as an all-time event.
Are you grateful you covered it? Because I'm grateful I did.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This was fantastic. This was unbelievable. It was unbelievably fun. All these performances. I mean, Mauricio Rufy, by the way, incredible. But like I said, my sorry not sorry night. It's time for Chandler to retire.
Yep. Yep.
It was
Obvious.
awful.
I just feel bad for him and his family. Seems like he has a very supportive family around him, and
Yeah, and he's gotten a lot of flack. I love Chandler and I love the history that he's made in MMA. It was too little, too late.
yeah,
Too little, too late. He should not have come to the UFC in 2021. It should
yep,
have
he should have
been
been there years. He should have been there in 17 or
17,
18.
18. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it should have been.
But
Because
you want to talk about a rising star though? Hoofy is the future at lightweight, I think, or one of them. That guy
I
is
mean,
a beast.
he and Renato Moicano were tied for number 9 in the UFC rankings. Rufy's definitely going to go in front of him. Number 8 is Dan Hooker. He's jumping Hooker. Gamrot was 7. He's jumping Gamrot. Pimlet's sitting there at 6.
We gotta wait to see how the fight plays out.
Oh, I see what you mean, but in the immediate aftermath, I wouldn't put him over Patty. I would put Rufy at 7, and then if Patty loses, Rufy's going up the chain, maybe to 6 at least. So Rufy's definitely getting a major fight in his next outing.
Yeah, I agree.
I know there's a lot of bookings right now at lightweight, so I guess it depends on what's next. Because obviously Gaethje Topuria fought tonight. Holloway's fighting Connor. Patty's fighting in the co-main event of that card. There's Benoit Saint Denis, number 5. You know, they're fighting. Who, depending how the 329 card plays out, will be who I think is next, Rufy. And the other thing is, there are rumblings, nothing official, on the line of DDP Kamaru that we could have Oliveira versus Sarukian. And I say rumblings and on the line of DDP Kamaru because last I checked, Armin Sarukian's in the White House. We were at the White House tonight. Armin Sarukian's in the doghouse.
Yeah. Yep. Well, you want to know who's in the doghouse? This is Islam Makhachev. He congratulated Gaethje on Twitter, and he told Ilya that this is what he deserves for not fighting him. Basically.
Big question. Okay. Now that Ilya and Pereira lost, Islam Makhachev number 1 pound for pound undisputed, correct?
Yeah. 100%. Mm-hmm.
I joked on after Ilya lost, I joked in the James Lynch chat. I said, you know how he has stock risers and stock fallers or whatever his show is called?
Mm-hmm.
I said, stock riser, Islam Makhachev, because nobody can deny him at this point.
Tom, you're not going to believe this. Guess how many people we are watching this on Twitter right now alone? Just on Twitter.
I mean, I see 1,000 people, 1,030 people are watching this right now.
Over 600 of them are from X, though.
Jesus.
It's pretty wild. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Shout out to all of you. Wait, that means over 400 people are watching this on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Islam Makhachev. So congratulations, Philadelphia. If the rumors and reports are true and the fight gets finalized, you're about to have the number 1 pound for pound in the world defend his title in your town.
Yeah, speaking of, it's maybe a tease, but yours truly, that might be his next UFC event in August. We shall see. I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking about it.
That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can make a detour up to New York in that time too. I mean, I'll be in Long Island for the PFL card a couple of weeks before that.
If I can make a detour, I'd be more than happy to come and say hello. No doubt.
Good. All right. Quickly, just the last couple of fights. Bo Nickel. I mean, the guy's hands are developing. Do I agree that he and Dawkins should have gone stood up? I've seen
No,
worse stand-ups. I've seen worse. Definitely not the best, though.
no.
But then Bo Nickel took it into his own hands, no pun intended, and got the knockout. So now his third knockout in the UFC, second straight knockout. That's back-to-back knockout wins after losing to Renier de Ritter. I think Bo Nickel is showing that he is a developing fighter, and something major next. I don't know, but still, there's something there with Bo Nickel. And
I'm going to matchmake right now. He should fight Israel Adesanya next. That's what I think.
Sorry?
He should fight Israel Adesanya next.
Ooh. If Izzy loses to Bo, I don't think there's any coming back at that point.
I don't think so. That's why you book it. That's what I think.
You use Bo Nickel as a potential old yeller, basically.
100%. Watch me be right, too.
Is Izzy still even in the rankings at this point? Oh, he's number 9.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So
generous
Bo wins.
He's on.
If Bo wins, if that fight happens and Bo wins, that's going to put him in the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, Zain, I kind of like it just simply because I was going to say, I don't know if I would put a number next to him yet. I know they're talking about potentially putting number 15 on him and dropping Ikram Aliskerov. Not the worst thing to happen, but still, I feel like to have true talk of Bo being a true contender and getting a number next to him, he's got to face somebody in that 9 to 15 range. And I don't know, I don't know if I would put him against Whitaker or him against RoboCop, but him versus somebody like Adesanya or even Aliskerov, I think those are his best chances at this point.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then Diego Lopez. I mean, that's what James Lynch was also talking about. In the example I was saying before, he was saying, well, Diego Lopez fought John Silva, got a title shot again after losing to Volk.
Yeah.
And you know what? Again, the only losses that Lopez has ever had was that controversial decision to Movsar Evloev, and then losing twice to Volkanovski, who's the champ and one of the best that we've seen, especially at featherweight.
He'll get a third fight against Volk, I think.
You think they're going to do it?
Not next if Volk beats Movsar.
Is there any progress on that?
As far as I know, no.
The only thing I will say to that is that would absolutely suck for Lerone Murphy if Lopez jumped him again.
Mm-hmm.
Because Lerone Murphy, because my feeling is if Volk Evloev gets made and Volk wins that fight, I think Murphy's got to get a title shot.
Why not do Murphy Lopez as a title eliminator?
I don't mind that. I could see that happening. I would just feel bad if Lerone lost that fight because the guy's definitely deserving of it.
Fair.
And
all right, given that it's almost 3 a.m, you want to do grades and get out of here?
Okay. Well, one other thing I'll say is, especially considering that I would have thought that Dana and company would have picked Murphy over Evloev because they like Murphy's fight style.
Mm-hmm.
All right, grades. This card gets an A. Why the hell not?
A 9.8 out of 10.
This is definitely up there in the conversation of card of the year.
Probably you know what would made it a 10 out of 10?
What?
In my opinion, for becoming a 3-division champion. That's what I think.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. I know some people might take points off for Hokett winning as well, but hey, this was a fun night. I mean, you had all those knockouts, you had all the stars here. Hey, I think this and UFC 324, the first Paramount card, are like top notch so far this year.
This was better than 324, I think.
I think so too, just on first glance. All right. So, anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Just grateful that I was able to do this with you. Grateful for all the content we've done this weekend. Tune in tomorrow for the first episode of Tough Enough. It drops at
5 p.m.
5,
Eastern.
5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Stay
And
tuned for episode 2 as well. There's a lot of good stuff coming up.
And then, of course, in between all that, you got Fight IQ tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. We'll go over this card again. We'll do any other big headlines coming out of the aftermath of.
There's going to be headlines, my friend, no doubt.
And then we'll preview a little bit of Vegas 119, particularly that Cop Horiguchi main event.
It's an outstanding fight. It just shouldn't be at the Apex, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, that should be a fight that's held in a international arena. But what are you gonna do at this point?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy that we're coming off that crazy card and we're going right back into things like business as usual.
Tom, to be fair, it's crazy that they just had an event in China, and even though Horiguchi's from Japan, you would think they would have put that fight there, and they didn't.
No. All right, quickly, let me get out of here. Make sure to have that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified of everything here at the Empty the Bench Network. Those of you who are watching on our X platforms, please give a like, repost, quote, post. Thank you so much. And then come over to our YouTube home, youtube.com/ETB Network. Make sure to follow the show across social media at FightIQETB. Make sure to follow the network at ETB Network. Follow Zan's show as well at Bando's Breakdown. And then you can follow Zan over at Bando's over at Zambando99, and you can follow me at Thomas J. Albano. I'm tired. I still have a little bit of work to do. I got to get out of here. So for Zan, thank you for joining me throughout the weekend. This is Tom Albano saying good night from the ETB Network.
Cheers, everyone.